Okay, if y'all have this type of washer machine stackables or even side by side Samsung, and you're wondering why you keep getting the DC and the SC codes, here's what I am doing to relieve myself of that. So I have, be quiet please, Mr. Briggs. I filled up my bottle here. So in this portion of the video, y'all, I took the cover off of the washer. It was still attached, but I opened it up, took the hose out, took that little gray piece that I just showed you guys out of it because it was the stopper for the hose. And I put the hose in these empty bottles. Now, I know this one bottle looks kind of disgusting, but that's because it was a parfait cup. And the other one is just a Gatorade bottle, Powerade bottle. These both were about to go in the trash. But because I'm about to fill these up with like smelly, stinky washer fluid hose water, I didn't care what it was that I had. I didn't want to utilize any of my good cups or Tupperware or anything like that. So I just took this parfait cup that I had just finished and I took my Powerade bottle and filled it up. So I probably filled up a total of a half a gallon. I just kept going to empty the two until all of the water had completely drained out. That stopper that I'm showing you guys is what's going to go back on that black hose that I have draining out into these bottles. This simple fix, along with the next step I'm going to show y'all, should be enough to get my washer off of the DC and the SC error codes that kept on popping up. Basically, it would stop my wash. Like I would put a 45-minute wash or a 25-minute wash, and it will start washing, and then it will stop, and it will be locked, and it won't finish my wash. So it will leave my clothes soiled and soaked with water. So this step is crucial. So that's what you'll do to take for the start. And then I'm just showing y'all several angles of the bottle still filling up. I let it just keep going to the hose couldn't produce any more water coming out. Once that took place, then I put down this towel on the floor. That way any overflow of the water can get on the towel that's going to go in the trash. I recommend that you get an old towel or an old t-shirt or something that you don't want anymore, because this is going to be so stinky and disgusting and just dirty laundry bacteria that you're not going to want to keep your cups that you use to overflow, and you're not going to want to keep your towels or whatever. Now, some people might put it in a glass bowl or something different and preserve it. That's up to you. I just wanted to do all things that I could throw away just to just keep sanitation. So as you guys can see, I have a lot of water that I had to drain out. Like I said, it was probably about a half a gallon or a little bit more than that in total. And I just went and dumped the water as I alternated between the two cups sources to fill that up. But this is the most, like real crucial part to get all that stinky, disgusting water that's just sitting in your washer out. So this process might seem like a long time, but you just need to sit there until it finishes because it's going to be crucial. Don't put that cap on there until you have completely depleted that hose. Now, when you open this flap on your washer, it could be located in the front, could be located in the back. Check the model that you have. I'm not sure my exact model of washer and dryer, but once I find some more info other than Samsung, I'll strive to put that in the description box so you have more of a definitive, like, this is the same machine that I have, so let me utilize the same thing. I wanted to do the voiceover just in case there's some people who can't just look at the video and figure it out. I'd rather just give you an explanation of what I did and just a little bit of a voiceover to explain what you could be doing too and resources to use. So like I said, this took a while because mine was full. As you can see, it's starting to drizzle. I'm almost out of the water coming out. So I'm still doing this for a little bit longer. I'm keep letting it drizzle. And once it's done, I'm going to put the applicator tip back into it, the stopper. So don't forget to put that stopper on there, because if you forget to put the stopper back on the hose, baby, the water's going to be going everywhere. So I put the stopper on there. Now, I was trying to talk to y'all, and I was trying to hold the camera with one hand, but what I'm basically doing is still just getting that excess water that's coming out, putting the hose in a downward position so it can get all of that extra water out. and I just started squeezing the hose to ensure that I can get out as much water as I can. So then the next thing that I do is I'm going to put that stopper on there after I've kind of just dabbed it to get the remaining water. Like I said, I can't express it enough. Put the stopper on there when you're done. I just cannot express it enough. You go to close that bad boy up and start running that washer and forgot to put that, and you walk away and come back an hour later and your floor is flooded. Yeah, it's because you didn't put that on there. So whatever kind of stopper cap you have, just put it back on. Whatever you took off, put it back on. If you lost it, don't start that washer till you can get a new one. But as you guys can see, I'm just going to put that in there. It was a little tug, but you want to make sure you forcefully get it in there and leave no room for error. Now, as you guys can kind of see, my flashlight ends up going off at some point, so it gets a little bit dark in there. But there's actually a little like hanger styled, I would say like a little piece where you can hang the hose on. Like you could feel the little protrusion out, and you can just put that hose on there. Now, some people probably just push their hose back in there, without it being neat or whatever. But if you want to actually put the hose back in place, you'll likely have something to actually hook the hose to for it to kind of just rest up in there. So I was just trying to, before I do that though, I'm going to go ahead and I'm letting you guys know that you'll see that later on in the video. But there is a white, well, it might be a different color in yours. I'm not sure. If you see that white top inside, it's like I could turn it left or right. You're going to want to turn that left. You're going to want to turn that counterclockwise. So the opposite way that a clock would tick, you want to turn it. As you're turning it, you don't want to just keep turning. Eventually, you're going to turn and pull, okay? Once you turn and pull, it will come out. I kept on having issues because I was trying to do it with one hand at first, and then mine was literally on there real tight. So what I did was I just, kept doing it. But you want to go counterclockwise. So it's almost that thing of righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You want to loosen it, so go left and pull out. You guys can't really see because I think the camera was just not in a good position. But y'all, I think I put this in front of the camera. I'm sorry. Let me see. Did I put this? Hold on. I thought that, I don't know if it showed close enough, but y'all, let me tell y'all what was in my filter. When you pull this out, that's the filter. So you see that water in there? That was excess water draining out. Eventually, I'm going to wipe that off. I'm going to clean that just to ensure that that's a dry socket. Girl, I had buttons in my filter. I had a cue stick, like the top of a cue stick from shooting pool quarters. And I had a insole from one of my Van sneakers, like my Converse, my Van sneakers. One of them shoes, soles were in there. In fact, the more I think about it, I don't think that was my shoe sole, actually. I think that's just like from these washers and dryers for so long, nobody has ever done the maintenance. So both ways, there was a Converse insole inside of the washer. Then I got to thinking, I said, okay, this just must have been with this washer for so long. So yeah, all of this stuff had to come out and get trashed. So there's buttons, there's quarters, there's cue sticks, there, like not full cue sticks for pool, but just like cue stick applicator tip. There's just a lot coming out of this thing, right? As you can see, look, I'm pulling out all the gunk that is in here. If you got, you got a dog, you've got your couch, all of these different factors that get on your clothes, lint, all of this, all of those things are wrapped up in this filter. Or this, I wouldn't even call it a filter. It might be considered a filter, but they're wrapped up in here. I don't have like a filter inside of it. That's just like the catcher, the stopper for the washer to catch stuff, right? So then I cleaned that out. really like dabbed it out, cleaned it out, wiped everything on this towel that was going in the trash. So I just did my best to make sure that it was super duper clean. Okay. Now, it would probably be best to have on some gloves if you can, but at that moment, I just needed to get this done because my laundry was piling up, my clothes were starting to soil, and I needed to fix this ASAP. And I was not going to the store to go get some more gloves just to do this at that moment. So I ended up doing this. I made sure that I washed my hands like 1,000 times and really just cleaned up after myself with disinfectant on the floor as well after I finished this project. So now that I have cleaned that filter piece, now that I have drained the hose, the next thing that I'm going to end up doing is putting the hose back. Now from this angle of the video, if you look above that white circle where the filter light came out, you'll see there was a hook there, right? That little hook up there. That little hook on the top is where the hose is going to hook to at some point. So at some point, that is where the hose will be. Now that I'm putting this back in, obviously, if I had to go counterclockwise, the opposite way of a clock to take it out, now I'm going to go clockwise, the correct way that a clock would tick. So obviously, like I said, righty tighty, lefty loosey. You want to go left to loosen it, right to tighten it. So now that we're putting it back, we don't need to loosen it. We're going to put it back in the socket and we're going to twist right. But when we twist right, you're going to twist that bad boy till you hear it actually pop into socket, and then just keep twisting right to make sure that that is completely back in place. So once you've twisted it on there, give it a little tug, give it a little pull, see if it pops back out. If it does, you didn't secure it properly inside. If it doesn't, you did. And you guys can see it's like a hesitation now when I'm turning it. Yeah, that's because now I have it in properly, right? So now that same, I'm just giving it a good little twist because we don't need these issues. We don't want no problems. So that little hook that you see in the back, the flashlight went out. This is the part I was talking about, that the flashlight went out. It took me a little while because it was a little dark in there, but I'm pushing this. I was trying to get back in there, but I kept on. I had to feel for it. But I went ahead and I got it up there. I could feel the little piece is just getting it up there. Sorry, y'all. I keep coughing. But you can see that I'm getting the little piece up there. Right, you see. Okay. Okay. So then now that we have done that, we've put it on. That's just our way of neatly putting things away. Now the next thing I'm going to do is close the flap back to this compartment. I do have a piece of tape on my washer, on my dryer. My washer, you don't have to have a piece of tape because it automatically will close back and secure into place. But the extra security doesn't hurt for me having it there. But you see, you just push it in just like you would the change drawer in a car. So then I put that in, fastened it back, and that solved that problem, at least for now, that it was cleaned, right? So now that it's cleaned out and it's secured back in the compartment, now my job is to rewash the load that I'm about to wash. So these clothes I'm rewashing because I don't want that soil, the smell or anything like that to affect the clothes I have already washed. So I'm rewashing it for an hour, 45 minutes on heavy duty. And now I'm down to an hour, 32 minutes. Before it used to pop up to SC or DC, which was telling me that I couldn't finish my load because those sensors, those codes kept popping up. It wasn't allowing my washes to go through. So with the time going down, it's telling me that it's at least allowing me to start washing. As you can see, You didn't see the hour and 45 minutes, but I'm telling you that it went down to 132, 131, and then eventually it just kept going less and less. So from an hour 45 minutes to now an hour 31, and it's going to keep going down to finish off that complete wash. To know that I'm successful at what I'm doing would mean that the timer would have to count all the way down, be completed, and my washer is going to sing to allow me to know that it is over. So I let that go for about an hour 30 more, and in the end I came back to see if it was going to allow for my wash. So far, 15 minutes into the wash, there's been no SC or DC codes, which is telling me that my cleaning of the hose and that filter system were great, because now I'm having a soapy sudsy wash and I'm not dealing with the SC and the DC codes any longer. So I'm just showing you guys, and that's that. Came back and the actual wash act completed, and now I've washed 3 or 4 loads since then. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was quite long, but I know that there's at least one soul out there who enjoyed it. Have a good one. That's my DIY, but typically I talk about beauty, fashion, business, lifestyle, entrepreneurship, real estate, travels, vlogs, hauls, you name it, one-stop shop on my channel. But certain projects like this, like fixing my washer, dryer, my AC unit, I'm gonna start throwing videos in there like that, so that people don't have to go spend all of this money for somebody to fix solutions that I have figured out, that this might help you as well. So make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed it.